What up YouTube, Oxal here today, bringing you the AK47, the most OP weapon in this game, and the attachments that you want for it. This was recently GA'd by the pros, right? Now, it has almost no recoil after you put an attachment or two on. And it gets to the point where if you do compensate for the recoil with those attachments, your aim is actually going to start going down and you'll miss shots because of it. Because it's just that good. You see everybody going around using the M16, see them using the AUG, see them using the AK-74U, while I really think that the AK-47 is the most OP gun going on right now. Now if we take a look at the numbers, we'll notice that the AK-47 only takes 4 shots to kill at its maximum damage range, which is 38.1 meters, and then it only takes 5 shots to kill at its minimum damage range. The weapon does have a slow rate of fire, but the time to kill still sits around 320 milliseconds, which is really damn good for an assault rifle, and that's really all we need. This combination of a quick time to kill with a slow rate of fire is going to allow us to skip out on the magazine attachment. Let's get to the attachments. We're going to be using the Microflex LED, because it's easier to see enemies, although I know the iron sights are really good in this gun and some people swear by them, but honestly, I really like the Microflex going on this one. This is going to be the loud and proud AK-47. If you want to go silent, then instead of using an optic, you want to use a suppressor, but I'll show you that later. We're going to be using the Microflex LED, going to be using the 20-inch Liberator because of the bullet velocity. Now, we don't really need more damage range, which is why you would use something like the Takedown, or why you would use something like the Reinforced Barrel, which is the one that people recommend. But honestly, I really feel like this already has good enough effective damage range. So if you were to put on the Liberator, you'll notice how it has 38 meters for damage range. That's already way more than enough for me. Now the bullet velocity, we want to make this into a laser, so we're going to put on the 20-inch Liberator. We're not going to put anything for the body here. Really don't need any lasers, we don't need any flashlights. If you really want, you could use a Tiger Team spotlight or something if you want to use a flashlight, but I don't. For the underbarrel, we're going to be using the Spetsnaz grip because it's really what makes this gun as ridiculous as it is. The horizontal recoil is crazy. This 20% recoil control, plus the vertical recoil control being 6%, is also really good. Now for the magazine, we're not really going to use anything because the fire rate of the weapon is so slow that you can easily kill 3 to 4 enemies with 30 bullets. You really don't need any more, and the reload speed for this weapon is really short. Let me show you right now. So the reload speed for this one, 2.6 seconds, which is already really good, honestly. Now for the handle, we're going to be using the Grew Elastic Wrap, which does take a while to unlock. So if you don't have it unlocked yet, then just use the speed tape until you get the Grew Elastic Wrap. We're going to be using this one because of the extra aim down sight time, and the flinch resistance and the ability to aim while going prone. All of that is going to be really useful for you. And then for this stock, we're going to use a KGB skeletal stock because you're getting a minus 30% hip fire accuracy, and you really don't hip fire, so that's okay. Now the 30% sprint to fire time we're going to get back because we did get rid of some sprint to fire time on one of the previous attachments, and the plus 40% aim walking movement speed since we got rid of some of it using one of our attachments back there. So that'll be the class when you're loud and proud. Now let's see the one where you're using a silencer, using a suppressor you don't want to be seen. So we're going to take off the mill dot, the Microflex LED, we're going to take that off. We're going to put on the suppressor, not the Grew suppressor. So the issue with the Grew suppressor is that, at least for me, it's too much. The recoil control is just too much. The plus 7% here, plus the 6% on the other attachment that we have on the grip is just too much for me. Now, you're also getting rid of some bullet velocity and some effective damage range, which I don't really enjoy for that. So, the suppressor, you're only getting rid of 15% of the effective damage range and bullet velocity. This one, on the Grew suppressor, you're getting rid of 30% of bullet velocity, which is really important in this game. Now, the regular suppressor also doesn't do the 7% vertical recoil control, so you're good here. Now, the issue why I don't like that extra recoil control is because whenever I compensate, again, it like goes down, my weapon starts going down, and it feels like I'm not hitting anything. Like I'm just missing because the recoil control is too much. Everything else is gonna stay the same. So we're gonna be using the 20-inch Liberator, the Spetsnaz grip, the Grew Elastic Wrap, and the KGB skeletal stock. The only change here is instead of an optic, we're gonna be using a regular suppressor. Let me show you the recoil patterns for both classes. Plus at the end, I wanna show you the recoil pattern for the Grew suppressor and the reason why I want you to see why I don't like it. Here we are, 10 meters away. This is the first class with the Microflex LED. Everything else is the same. Let's look at the recoil pattern and how little of it there is. Let's zoom in so you can see it better. Note that I did not control any of the recoil, this is just purely the gun by itself firing. Let's take a look at the Grew suppressor, same thing, 10 meters away, not controlling the recoil. Here you can see the difference is pretty big actually, like all that recoil that was to the left, as you'll see here in the side-by-side view, all of that is gone. But even though it looks to be really good, I want to show you why I don't like it. I really think it's too much. In this last test, I'm going to actually control the recoil, and look at what happens here. Crazy, right? You can see how it started off pretty well, and then as I started correcting, it literally just made me stop being able to aim at all. So I really don't use the Grew suppressor. I do believe it's a little bit too much for me. Especially if I ever want to go back to another weapon and I do have to correct, then there's no way. There's no way that I'll be able to use that weapon because I would get used to not having to correct in any sort of way, which is kind of the opposite of what's going on here. I'm used to correcting, so when I do correct, it throws me off. To sum it all up, the AK47 is, in my opinion, the most OP weapon in the game right now, and all you have to do is put on the 20-inch Liberator, the Spetsnaz grip, the Grew Elastic Wrap, the KGB skeletal stock, and then figure out if you want the Microflex LED or a suppressor. Because of all of its strengths, I do believe it's gonna be nerfed soon, so go out there and use it before the vertical recoil gets increased. From here on, I'll leave you off with a few more clips that I got of the AK47 while I was testing it out and trying to figure out what attachments I really wanted to use. If you enjoyed the video or found it helpful, smash that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.